It is 6:47 in the morning, a quiet street corner. The air smells like rain and exhaust. A man named Miguel is walking to the bus stop. Gray hoodie, paper bag with a breakfast sandwich, earbuds in. He's listening to a voicemail from his daughter. She says, "Papi, don't forget my recital is tonight." He smiles, he exhales, he's thinking about tonight. He's not thinking about what's about to happen. The bus is 2 minutes away. A white SUV pulls up, no siren, no lights, just two men stepping out with hands near their belts. One of them says, "Hey, can we talk to you for a second?" Miguel pulls out one earbud. His stomach drops. His hands go cold. He doesn't know what to say. He doesn't know what not to say. And in the next 60 seconds, he will make a decision. That changes the rest of his life. What you say in the first 60 seconds of an ICE encounter can determine whether you go home tonight or whether your family spends the next decade trying to get you back, not weeks, not months, a decade. And the worst part? Most people lose not because they broke the law, but because they didn't know 3 words. 3 words that are fully legal. 3 words that shut down the encounter. 3 words that every immigration attorney in this country tells their clients to memorize. We're going to give them to you today, but first, you need to understand why those words work, because if you say them without understanding the law behind them, you won't say them with confidence, and confidence is everything. Stay with me. This could be the most important video of your life. Here's what happens to most immigrants when they're stopped by ICE. They panic, and when people panic, they do the one thing that destroys their case, and they talk, they explain, they justify, they show documents they didn't have to show, they answer questions they had the legal right to refuse. They think, if I cooperate, they'll let me go. But here's what immigration attorneys know, and what the system relies on you not knowing. Voluntary statements are the #1 source of evidence used against immigrants in removal proceedings. Not raids, not surveillance, not databases, your own words. The moment you start explaining where you're from, how long you've been here, where you work, you have given an officer information they could not legally obtain any other way. You have handed them the case against you, and you did it because you were afraid, because you wanted to seem cooperative, because no one ever told you. And cooperation without counsel is not protection. It is confession. This is the mistake. This is the trap that costs people their green cards, their visas, their families, their futures. And today, we're going to make sure you never make it. An officer approaches you. His tone is calm, casual, almost friendly. He says, "We just want to ask you a few questions. It'll only take a minute." And you think, it's just questions. What's the harm? Here is the truth. There is no such thing as just questions in an ICE encounter. Every question is a data collection point. Every answer is potential evidence. Every clarification you offer can be and will be used to establish your presence, your status, and your vulnerability. The officer's calm tone signals safety. It feels rude to refuse. You don't want to look guilty. That's exactly why it works. So here's the correct move. Look the officer directly in the eyes. Say calmly, clearly, and without apology, "I am exercising my right to remain silent. I would like to speak with an attorney." That's it. Those are the 3 words that save lives. I want attorney. You do not explain. You do not soften it. You do not say, "I'm sorry," but you say it once, you say it clearly, and then you say nothing else. The officer says, "Do you have any ID on you?" You immediately reach for your wallet, because that's what we do when someone in authority asks. We comply. But here is the truth. In most states, you are not required to show identification to an immigration officer unless you are being formally detained and they have reasonable suspicion you've committed a crime. Showing ID feels like the safest, fastest way to end the encounter. But showing certain documents, a foreign passport, a consular ID, an expired visa, can instantly give ICE information about your country of origin and your immigration status. So before showing anything, ask firmly and calmly, "Officer, am I being detained or am I free to go?" If they say you're free to go, walk away. Do not run. Walk calmly. If they say you are being detained, do not resist physically. Say, "I do not consent to this. I am exercising my right to remain silent. I want an attorney." Do not hand over documents voluntarily. Do not explain what the documents are. Do not interpret documents for the officer. An officer places a paper in front of you. He says, "Just sign this. It's standard procedure." Your hands are shaking. You don't read English perfectly. You sign. What you just signed may have been a voluntary departure agreement, a legal document in which you agree to leave the United States, you waive your right to a hearing, and forfeit years of legal proceedings that could have protected you. This happens every single day. You have the absolute right to refuse to sign anything without first speaking to an attorney. Voluntary departure waivers can result in multi-year bars from re-entering the country. Officers sometimes present signing as the faster, easier, less confrontational path. When someone is frightened and alone, a quick resolution feels like relief. It is not. No matter how much pressure you feel, do not sign anything. Say, I will not sign any documents without speaking to my attorney first. Repeat it as many times as necessary. You are not being difficult. You are protecting your legal rights. Rights recognized by the United States Constitution for every person on American soil, regardless of status. It's early morning. There's a knock at the door. You hear immigration. Open up. You open the door. They walk in. You may have just made one of the most legally significant decisions of your life without realizing it. ICE cannot enter your home without a judicial warrant, a warrant signed by a federal judge. An ICE administrative warrant is not the same thing. It does not give them the right to enter your home if you do not consent. The word immigration triggers fear, not legal reasoning. The instinct is to comply. Most people don't know the difference between a judicial warrant and an administrative one. So here's what you do. Do not open the door. Speak through the closed door. Say, "Do you have a judicial warrant signed by a federal judge?" If they say yes, ask them to slide it under the door, read it carefully. If it says U.S. District Court and is signed by a judge, it is a judicial warrant. If it is an ICE form I-200 or I-205, it is an administrative warrant. It does not give them the right to enter without your consent. Say through the door, "I do not consent to entry." Then call an immigration attorney immediately. Do not open the door. Now let's talk about the law, because this isn't opinion. This isn't advice from someone on the internet. This is the United States Constitution. The Fifth Amendment states that no person shall be compelled to be a witness against themselves. It does not say no citizen. It does not say no legal resident. It says no person. That means you. Regardless of your status, regardless of your documentation, regardless of where you were born, the Fourth Amendment protects against unreasonable searches and seizures. It applies to your home, your car, your phone, your belongings, and it applies to you. Miranda v. Arizona, the landmark Supreme Court case, established that you have the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney before any questioning. Courts have repeatedly held that these rights extend to non-citizens. Zadvydas v. Davis decided in 2001. The Supreme Court confirmed that due process protections apply to all persons within U.S. borders, regardless of immigration status. These are not loopholes. These are not technicalities. These are the foundational laws of the country you are living in. They were written to protect the powerless from the powerful. They were written for this exact moment. Use them. Here is your survival plan. Memorize this. Step 1. Stay calm. Control your body. Rapid movement, reaching into pockets, or backing away can escalate any encounter. Plant your feet. Keep your hands visible. Breathe. Step 2. Say the 3 words out loud and clearly. I want attorney, or the full version. I am exercising my right to remain silent. I want to speak with an attorney. Say it once, say it clearly, do not apologize for it. Step 3, ask the question that changes everything. Am I being detained or am I free to go? If you are free to go, leave calmly. If you are being detained, do not resist. Invoke your rights, say nothing else. Step 4, do not answer any questions about your origin, your status, or your history. Not where you're from, not how long you've been here, not where you work, not who you live with, nothing. Every single answer is potential evidence. Step 5, do not sign anything, not a consent form, not a statement, not a waiver, not without an attorney. I will not sign without speaking to my attorney first. Say it with calm, quiet certainty. Step 6, memorize your attorney's phone number before you need them. Not saved in a phone that can be taken, written on your arm if necessary, memorized in your mind. The moment you are in custody, your first words should be, I want to call my attorney. Step 7, if they enter your space, document everything mentally. How many officers, what they said, what time it was, what you said, what they touched. Write it all down the moment you can. This record can be critical in legal proceedings. Step 8, notify your emergency contact immediately after, before you go home, before you go to work. Text someone who knows your situation. Have a plan, have a person. Don't face this alone, and don't let your family be blindsided. It is 9:15 at night, an international airport, the arrivals hall. A woman named Fatima has just landed after visiting her sick mother abroad. She has a valid visa. She has her documents. She has done nothing wrong. She approaches the officer at the booth. He takes her passport. He looks at his screen longer than usual. He says, "Please come with me." Her heart stops. She follows him into a secondary inspection room, fluorescent lights, plastic chairs. There are other people there, some of them crying quietly. The officer sits across from her with a yellow notepad. He says, "I just have some questions. We want to make sure everything is in order." She thinks, this is just routine. I'll answer his questions and go home. She does not know that what she's about to say can be used to deny her entry, revoke her visa, and start a removal proceeding. She does not know that secondary inspection is a high-stakes legal space, and that even visa holders have rights inside it. Even at a port of entry, you have the right to remain silent on questions beyond confirming your identity and the purpose of your visit. You do not have to answer questions about your political beliefs, your religion, your friends, your community, your personal life. If an officer asks questions that feel invasive or unrelated to your travel, you can say calmly, "I'm not comfortable answering that question without speaking to an attorney." You have the right to contact an attorney. You have the right to contact your country's consulate. If you are a green card holder, your permanent residence cannot be revoked through a port of entry encounter without a formal hearing. They cannot take your green card simply because you answered questions poorly, but those answers can be used against you in a later hearing. If your phone is searched, you are not required to provide your password. Say, "I do not consent to a search of my device." Your non-consent is on the record, and that matters legally. So what does Fatima do? She stays calm. She provides her name, her passport, and her stated purpose of travel. Beyond that, she says, "I would like to speak with an attorney before answering further questions." She does not explain her family situation. She does not explain her trip. She does not try to justify anything. She has done nothing wrong. The law protects her, and she trusts the law. I want to speak to you directly now. Not as a content creator, not as someone reading from a script, as someone who understands what it means to carry fear in your body every single day, the kind of fear that comes from building a life somewhere that doesn't always feel safe. I know what it's like to watch the news and feel your stomach tighten. I know what it's like to cross the street when you see a police car, not because you've done anything wrong, but because you've been taught that being visible is dangerous. I know what it's like to teach your children to be careful, to be quiet, to be invisible, and I want to say something to you that I mean with everything I have. You are not invisible. You are not powerless. You are not alone. The rights we talked about today were not created as a favor. They were fought for. They were written in law because this country, at its best, believed that every human being deserves dignity, that no government agent can walk up to a person and strip away their voice, that the law is a shield and it belongs to you. Your status does not define your worth. Your documents do not define your humanity. And knowing your rights is not defiance. It is the most American thing you can do. The people who wrote the Bill of Rights did it because they were afraid of a government with too much power. They knew what it felt like to have that power used against them. They built protections for you. Use them. You are not a criminal for knowing your rights. You are not suspicious for wanting an attorney. You are not weak for being afraid. And you are not powerless just because you are far from home. This community exists because we believe that information is armor. That when one person knows their rights, their family is safer, their neighbors are safer, their whole community is safer. We are building something here together, and no encounter, no officer, no piece of paper can take away what you know. So memorize those 3 words. Write them on your hand if you have to. I want attorney. Say them like you mean them. Say them like your life depends on them. Because sometimes, it does. Before you close this video, I need you to do one thing. Think of one person in your life who doesn't know this. A family member who would panic, a friend who would talk, a coworker who thinks being cooperative means being safe. They need to see this video, not because it's interesting, but because the next ICE encounter in their life might be in 6 months or 6 days. And the difference between going home to their family and spending years in a removal proceeding might come down to 3 words they never learned. Send this video to them right now, not later, now, while they're still safe, while there's still time to prepare, because preparation is love, because sending this is you saying, I see you, I care about you, I want you to be protected. Share it with your family group chat, post it on your community page. Send it to the person in your city who everyone goes to for advice. This is how we protect each other, not by staying quiet, but by making sure everyone in our circle is informed, prepared, and dignified. You watch this video because you care. Now pass it on because someone you love needs it more than you know. Everything in this video is based on established U.S. constitutional law, federal court precedent, and guidance from immigration legal organizations, including the ACLU and the National Immigration Law Center. This is not legal advice for your specific case. Every situation is different. Every state has different laws. And if you are currently in removal proceedings, or if you have received any official immigration documents, please contact a licensed immigration attorney immediately. Many nonprofit organizations offer free or low-cost immigration legal services. Do not navigate this alone. We will link resources in the description below. Use them. The law is complex. The system is not always just, but knowledge is real, rights are real, and attorneys are trained to use both on your behalf. This channel exists to make sure you walk into every situation informed, not afraid, informed. There is a difference. Fear freezes you. Information moves you forward. Subscribe so you never miss an update, because immigration law changes, policies shift, and you deserve to know about every change before it affects your life. We'll see you in the next video. Stay safe, stay informed, and remember, you have rights. Use them.